Hello, everybody, and welcome to our special live stream on February 12th, 2019 to discuss the Activision Blizzard earnings call, the conference call that took place earlier today. When we finished our podcast earlier this afternoon, that call was just about to get started, so we weren't able to cover it at that time. But wow, the information from this has been coming in hot and heavy, and there is a lot to talk about. So we wanted to do a special live stream to discuss it. I'm here as always with Cybsidian.
Hello, and I should to be more businesslike, I guess we should read out what they read out at the beginning of their financial reports. I would like to remind everybody that during this call, we will be making statements that are not historical facts. Forward-looking statements in this presentation are based on information available to the company as the date of this presentation, and while we believe them to be true at the moment, they ultimately may be proven to be incorrect. A number of factors could cause the company's actual future results and other future circumstances to differ. So yeah. I know it's a standard cover your butt, line that's told on multiple fronts, but just hearing that, like at the get-go, just hearing that as a 100% pure statement of fact by the company is just...
Well, it makes you wonder, really, can you believe anything they're saying? I mean, if they have to put that as a boilerplate on all of their earnings calls, yeah, where's the guarantee of accuracy? It does seem kind of strange that they would say stuff like that, but
it's just so out there that it's bizarre in a handful of cases. So whatever. It's bizarre. It's weird. But going into this, what we have is basically, so I gave kind of like the doom and gloom, like worst potentials this morning. But looking at it, this has been really positive for them, quote unquote, so far. I don't know if the stockholders and if the people buying this stock are aware of what's going on. No new content was announced, so no future titles, no
nothing major,
especially
anyway.
Especially no new games. What they basically did is they doubled down on mobile, and they doubled down on basically doing what they've been doing thus far. They basically pushed off and ignored pretty much everything, all of the negative press that they've been receiving as, it's just a learning curve. It's just we're resetting things at the company, and that's really bizarre on so many levels. They talk about their shift in strategy and new leadership and all this kind of stuff, and we made a ton of money. Now, mind you, we had to can 8% of our entire working force.
And yet,
to do so,
somehow, we made record profits in 2018, and then it was practically in the same breath. Then they turn around and say we are reducing our workforce by 8%, which works out to roughly 800 employees. Don't know the exact number.
Some of the numbers that have been floated around exactly are like 775.
I saw that number. Some have said 800 plus, but
what we know for sure is that pretty much their entire support team that they had on Activision's end for Destiny is gone. They're gone because they don't have Destiny anymore, so therefore all related Destiny content and people are basically off the project, out of the company and off of any other potential projects. We know that a lot of this includes a lot of other people in support roles. And we know that this includes some office clerical people by the looks of it. Just going off of what we're hearing, what we're seeing so far, it's a pretty fast-moving situation. Not everybody who's been fired has been reporting it on their Twitters and Facebooks and stuff like that. So it'll take a little bit before we can get a real accurate description. What they said that they've done is that they've retained all of their programmers and developers and are either moving them on to new projects to come out with more content faster, is basically what it boils down to. And like I said, they've confirmed that basically they're doubling down on I mean, I want to say doubled down on stupid, but they're basically doubling down on the concept and the idea and the goal of creating a series of games that are based off of their existing games and just porting versions of them over to mobile. So Diablo Immortal is not a new game. It's a lot of rehashed content that was on the, previously was on the PC version, is now just exclusively on the mobile version. They have more of these games coming, and they have more of these mobile games coming, and a lot of them are going to be coming that are basically just additions to existing content. So Call of Duty, they announced this back a couple months ago, but this is also coming out for sure now, and they've doubled down on that. They're also bringing out more, quote unquote, more of their existing titles to become free to play, to push them into the free to play market. Sorry, not the mobile market, not the free to play market. Mm-hmm. Although they'll probably be free to play and mobile. That's typically how it goes, and they'll probably be microtransactioned everywhere. So that's a quick rundown. The stock price has been going up slightly. Now, where this goes from here, they have no new projects. So the question I ask is, do they really think that they're going to be able to take nothing new that they're making this year and somehow make as much money as they've made this year? That seems quite strange to me. Is it that they're so dependent on the microtransactions and they're so dependent on the loot boxes and stuff like that, and the reoccurring payments, for things like WoW, to the point where they can basically shrug off and say, you know what, there's no reason for us to worry about anything related to do with, losing out on players and buyers and payers, because we're not putting out anything new. It's all just reoccurring payments and rehash stuff. This is frankly really, really disturbing as far as game development goes, because this is Activision basically saying, yeah, we basically have nothing planned for this year aside from a handful of things that were already announced. And next year, expect to get, double the amount of mobile games from us as we lean more towards mobile for everything. And it's like, mm-hmm. Wow.
Here's the other interesting thing, is they reported record profits for 2018, and yet they said it fell below expectations. If I recall, mm-hmm. I'll try to find the quote here, but it fell way below expectations. How do you interpret that?
I don't really know how I interpret that as a lie. I don't know how they're interpreting that, because they're basically saying, yeah, we basically have, everything is down, but we're making tons of money. And that's one of these things where it's like, in their position, they would be really tempted to lie, honestly, to budge some records and to kind of shift their focus. This is a company that's been, selling stock like crazy. That's been hemorrhaging users constantly. That has just been. I reread through their last financial report in November, and they said that the community was muted on the announcement of Diablo
Immortal.
Muted, as in, they weren't really responding to it. That's what they're saying. Oh, they didn't really show interest one way or the other. It's like, wait, you think that you think the reception that you got was the community not being interested one way or another?
If that's what they actually meant by that, then that's a straight up lie.
And
the community was very vocal about their response to that.
Yeah, so
but I guess
so this is really going to react over we're probably not going to see a big reaction over the next couple of days. I suspect that their stock will continue to rise slowly, and then kind of level out and just kind of sit at what a lot of companies do in these particular scenarios, is they just kind of sit steady for a while. And it's their next big project that they release, which is probably going to be Diablo Immortal. Once that comes out in CoD, mobile as well. Once those things come out, and if they get 20 million downloads in the first day and people start throwing money left, right, and center at them, then yeah, I guess, like we've seen with EA, like we've seen with some of these other stuff recently. Even 2K took a hit because they made the biggest game in 2018 period, and apparently it just wasn't enough for their stockholders. Apparently it just was not enough money, and it wasn't enough stuff, and it wasn't enough income and generating income and all this kind of stuff. And to me, it's shocking that we're at this point, and it's shocking that that the community has been, they've been really vocal about this stuff, but when it comes to practice, is it that the community is just sitting there saying, I guess this is how the future of gaming is, and we might as well just get used to it?
Well, I hope
is that
it's
what's
not
really
that
going on?
I hope not. I hope that is not the kind of apathy that is being demonstrated by the gaming community. But we're seeing it in other arenas. We're seeing it with EA right now. We're seeing some apathy towards their some of their disgusting practices because they've put out a half decent game or a really decent game now. So we're willing to forgive predatory behavior and just poor, disrespectful toward their community's behavior, just because of a decent game. These are all questions that we're going to be discussing, I'm sure, in coming days. And so definitely subscribe to our channel to catch our live podcasts every Tuesday and Friday, and tons of other content as well. And if you appreciated this content, don't forget to slam that like button. Hope you appreciated this brief report. Did we have anything else we wanted to touch on before we close down here?
Obviously, we're concerned about the employees, and it sucks for them.
Yes, absolutely.
They have been given quite the apparently quite the severance package. They are also getting the ability to receive what they call it, revenue sharing for 2018. So how exactly or what exactly that entails, I'm not quite certain. If it was stock options, stock is already down over 50%, and it may recover up to I honestly doubt that it will recover much above 50. I think it's going to stay steady for a while until the market kind of feeds into it. Now they might be able to really hype this up, but they got to remember, the more they hype this up, the harder they're going to crash if they can't deliver this stuff. If these future mobile games come out and they are, basically, they're basically hated by the community, and they don't sell and they don't get out there, and they were hoping for 40, 50 million people to download these things, and instead they get maybe 5 million, and the average review score sits around like a 2, then judgment's going to come knocking, and because somebody's misled somebody over this, and if that's the case for 2019, then yikesies. So we'll see how that feeds into. Really interested to see what is going to happen to Tencent too. It's under enormous pressure as well right now. The market in China has really fallen through the floor, and how that will affect this Tencent going forward, and how that will affect their relationship with Activision Blizzard, that's going to be really, really interesting to watch it as that expands into the situation as well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, and we hope that the laid off employees are scooped up by good companies in the industry and are able to have secure financial futures. So our thoughts are with them there, and it's good that they're getting some severance, but it's always a rough time. Especially in the games industry, having to change jobs can be a pretty monumental thing, often involving a change of location. So
yeah, pretty stressful too.
So hopefully it works out well for all those employees that were laid off. Do, like I said, sub And don't forget to hit the like button on this video, and stay tuned for more updates on this and more of the conversation around the gaming industry in general that we like to engage in, especially on our podcasts every Tuesday and Friday, but lots of other content as well coming your way. So thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're watching live or if you are listening to this after the fact, we appreciate you being here. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we will talk to you later.